good evening, and welcome again to another episode of Purebred TV, where gamefowl breeders and talkers across the globe gathered as one. Tonight's episode, we will be going to talk to one of our friends in the Philippines. Help me welcome Sir TONIO ROMULO of TONIO MICA Game Farm. Sir, good evening, sir.
Hi. Evening.
Kumusta dyan sa Pilipinas, sir?
Well, medyo tahimik. We're having a lot of problems with COVID. So just trying to stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, That's all we can do. Luckily, there's some online sabong also. So we have a bit of fun also. But yeah, the world changed so fast in 1 year. Can't believe it.
So first of all, sir, tell us about yourself. Who is TONIO ROMULO, and how it all began from the first generation to your generation?
I'm a second generation cockfighter. My dad is Mike Romulo, and he was breeding chick. He got into cockfighting like late 70s. And I was born in 1986. My mom's brother and my dad were like partners in sabong, so I have cockfighting on both sides of my family. So really, ever since I was young, I was around chickens and mahilig talaga. Yeah, I'm 35 years old. I've been around chickens 35 years. Yeah. Not even 1 year old, they'll bring me to the sabungan. In the Santa Ana cockpit in Makati, I'm just a baby. They bring me when I hear the shouting. So yeah, lumaki talaga sa around chickens, and I met all my dad's friends, mostly mga chicken. So
yeah. So how do you cope up the COVID situation right now, with your business, with your farm, with your family?
It's very hard adjustment also. Everything has slowed down here in the Philippines, and the only thing you can do is to stay home and try and stay healthy. Well, in terms of the chickens, we can fight in this online. We participate, but it's also it's very different. I attend the fight. I'm very hands-on with the birds. Now we just send them and we watch them on the computer. It's very different, but at least it's something to do, no? And it helps with the boredom now of life, right? It's much very, very different now. But at least we still have the chickens. Keeps you busy, breeding, raising the chicks. Conditioning. I stay here with my chickens also, so I'm still very hands-on. It's just that I miss going to the fight.
Yeah. Nasaan yung farm niyo, sir? Where is your farm located?
We're in Cavite, Tagaytay and Silang. My main farm Silang, Cavite.
So na-mention niyo po yung online. Is it the WPC?
Yes, we joined that. We joined the WPC.
Okay. So what is there any hurdles or ano yung experience nyo joining WPC?
Well, it's a big adjustment because you fight more often, right? And it's not when you're ready to fight. It's when you have to fight to keep up with the membership, right? So it's an adjustment to your training of the chickens. You have to have many in rotation, and it's a lot tougher to manage because you can't pass, right? So at the start, you got to get used to it. Then you got to get used to the system of fighting at that pit, the schedule, how it runs. So there's a lot of like learning process. Then you can, if you got the good chickens, they eventually start to score also. And but it's tough. There's a lot of good it's tough competition. So just gotta be a game, because you'll have good scores, bad scores. Just gotta keep going.
Yeah, that's very normal, sir. But as a breeder in the Philippines, what is the real struggle of a breeder like you in the Philippines right now?
Well, right now, everything's slowed down. The economy is pretty bad. There's not much people buying chickens. If you could say like the only very few people can even participate in the fights now, right? Because all most of the cockpits in Metro Manila they're closed, so the smaller level fights don't they can't continue. And then if you're a small scale breeder, you might have a hard time moving your chickens. A lot of people are stopping. It's very challenging times now. It's all expense. If you can't sell, you can't fight. You're just gonna feed and feed the chickens. Like even me, my breeding was very delayed during COVID because I wasn't sure if there was gonna be a opportunity to fight. So and then now there's full blast fighting with this online. So we gotta breed again, produce again more chickens because now there's a demand all of a sudden.
So ano yung mga
Different.
ano,
You can't really answer because everything's still so new, right? So everyone's like learning the new process at the same time. Everyone's starting from scratch.
so what bloodlines are you raised right now?
Well, I raise the same lines usually. What we've been raising for many years: the Greys, the Clarets, and the McLean Hatch. Those are my three main bloodlines. And then I have some blue chickens, some oriental chickens, and some black fowl. I experiment also with a lot of other bloodlines, but my main lines is always going to be the McLeans, the Clarets, and the Greys. That's what we are known for, I guess, and what we mass produce in the farm. Majority of our fowl carry those three lines.
Single mating kayo, sir, or inbreed, or ano yung strategy niyo pagdating sa breeding?
Breeding, well, I flock mate also because if I didn't have to produce so many chickens, I would single mate. But that's really now with the requirements, it's unrealistic because you really need a lot of chickens now in this online league and stuff. So we do flock mating, but of course I use full sisters. For the brood fowl, I'll single mate for my pure. So yeah, flock mating for the battle crosses, and then both flock mating, and I also have single mated pens for my inbred fowl. Yeah.
So in your experience, record keeping is, di ba, is very important. How do you manage your record
yeah.
keeping? Paano mo siya na-manage sa farm mo?
Well, I do it all myself, and I'm not too good with the computer, so I do it all by hand. And I have like notebooks from like maybe 2000. Yeah, I even have my dad's old files. They're all just there. But I take detailed notes and then each year I have more comments, and I add comments on like, okay, these hens are daughters of these hens that produce this. I put a lot of notes in it. And then of course I track the winning percentage, how many wins. I even will write down like, I'm particular about what the hens are. Like if the hens are sisters to winners or daughters of good broodcocks. So I kind of like record like expected performance from certain hens. And then something like that. I could organize it more, but I don't know. Sanay na ako. So what I'm doing.
So since nabanggit yung mga race yung mga bloodlines na nire-raise mo, Greys, Hatches, and McLeans, ano yung mga characteristics ng bawat bloodlines na ano yung mga fighting styles nila, saan yung mga Go ahead, sir.
I like those three specific bloodlines because they complement each other very well, right? I can just produce the same type of chicken with those three and putting them in all different percentages. Like the Clarets give the good breaking, good timing. They're good cutters also, like the Greys. The Greys are good cutters also. The Greys and the Clarets are very similar. And if you go back in the history, they'll have a similar history that trace back to the lines of Madigan. Madigan.
Yeah.
So I like to breed them close together. The grays, the clarets. They got the good style, high breaking. The gray puts a little more power. The grays are also good cutters. And then I add my hatch, which is very game, very powerful, a lot of legs. And if they're McLean over gray, McLean claret, claret McLean, claret McLean gray, three-way, all three will fight similar. I like my birds to be smart in the first buckle, but when they get to the floor, I like them to finish na. I don't want too much weaving anymore. Once they make first contact, I want them to keep on hitting. That's because I feel now like here it's so long. Everyone's good at timing. All the birds are good. Sometimes if your rooster is too smart, he gets caught. Then sayang. So parang once you hit the other rooster, I want them to finish them na. That's the style what's been working for me at least. Everyone has their own preference, right? But I like a rooster that once he starts hitting, he'll continue already to get the win.
Nice. Do you have more battle crosses or pures?
So of course, you'll have more battle crosses, produce more battle crosses. Yeah.
Okay.
I think with the way it is now in the Philippines, the fighting, it's hard to fight pure families. Mostly crosses in the pit. Although my McLeans they do it really well pure. I can win with those McLeans pure and cross. But of course, if you've been inbreeding the fowl for so long, your pure stock is much smaller. You're gonna give up a lot of. You'll have a lot of disadvantages against a crossed chicken, which will be perfect station, more confirmation. But you also have to test your pure inbred fowl. They have to be able to win in the big fights. You have to assess. The only way to improve in breeding is just to keep fighting. Just keep fighting, and you'll know what wins. You'll know which are the good hens to use, and keep on going from there. Keep fighting, take records, be very observant. No, a lot of the success comes from who is the most observant, right? You got to know how your roosters like to be pointed. That's another thing, another big part of choosing what you're going to breed. Your breeding program is how you train. It's all related. Like, I like these roosters because it fits the style of conditioning I give them. Something like that. Yeah. There's no like overnight formula like you read in the magazine. You won't. It can give you the background, the basics, but you won't learn if you don't fight. That's the only way to learn and improve is just to keep competing. Of course, compete at your own at the level you can afford, right? Don't like bet it all or whatever, but you got to keep testing the bloodlines and your birds. That's the only way to get better.
Who inspires you to do more for this sports? Because this is really a passion. It's a big industry in the Philippines. Who inspires you to do more about this sports?
Well, I like to do it for my family. My dad started this a long time ago, so I feel like I'm upholding a tradition, family tradition or something like that. The same chickens we've been fighting for like 30 years. I'm proud of that. Like I can still say I use the same chickens my dad was using in the 80s.
Wow.
We're not always just changing bloodlines. That's the challenge, right? To maintain that family of chickens for so long and that they remain competitive, right? That's what inspires me in this sport, to keep the chickens competitive over a long amount of time, and the same chickens.
Wow. 30 years is a long time. So,
yeah, these grays, the clarets, since 1981, my father had those chickens. Yeah, I was before me. Those chickens were on our farm.
You're 1986, right?
Yeah, I'm 86.
How do you manage your farm and your family?
Well, I'm single, so I'm okay. I have all the time in the world to dedicate to these chickens.
Wow.
I really concentrate on my roosters right now. It's especially pandemic, right? There's no place to go at night. no parties, no nothing, right? So Yeah, I'm with the birds now. Of course, like when I was younger, I went to school and everything like
Yeah.
that. Right? And of course, you do, the normal things growing up. But I always like the chickens, and I could say maybe when I started going regularly to the cockfights when I was about 12 years old. I started going already all the time with my dad. Even and in those days, the fights start late. You go home at like 4 a.m. Sometimes I'd be doing my homework in the cock house. After school, I'll go straight to the cockpit. Then by the time I was in college, I was already the one doing the conditioning for my dad. He was busy with other things, so he'd send me, and I started to take more of a role in managing the chickens and even with the breeding. So yeah, about mid 2000s, I became really involved with the chickens, with the farm, running the farm, both the breeding and the fighting. And then I kind of got lucky. We had some very good showings in the World Slasher, and then of course there was the circuit in Makati Coliseum, and that was just the start of websites where you could show your chickens online. And I would say I was one of the first people to start uploading pictures and videos. And then I found out, oh, a lot of people like to buy chickens and stuff like that. And so I kind of made a little, I made a lot of contacts of people all over the world because of the chickens.
To follow up the question, what is the event that is very unforgettable to you?
Well, we've won some nice derbies. Uh, I can't say if one was more special than the other. Like we won the Richard Bates Derby in Makati Coliseum. That is very prestigious stag derby. That was a special one because Richard Bates was our neighbor and our good friend, like one of our idols. So we were close to him, and then we won the champion. That year, we were in the World Slasher finals in January and in May, and we came up short. We won like 6 straight both times, but we came up short of the championship both times. And so it's like we redeemed ourselves in the Stag Derby. We proved that we can go all the way, get the championship. And that was nice. Makati Coliseum was new then. We got the trophy in the middle of the cockpit. Richard Bates gave us the trophy. That was a nice one. Then a few years later, we won the Breeder of the Year in Cavite, 7 stag. I remember I was studying for some exam. I went to the finals, and we won that one. That was 6.5 out of 7. That was a good one. We were the first entry to win the UFCC of Atongang when that was new. We were the first to go 6 straight and win that solo.
Wow.
That was a nice one. Many nice memories, and even more than the memories of winning in Sabong. It's more like the friends I made through Sabong. Those are the more unforgettable moments. I've been very fortunate to meet so many people from all over. I've been to Guam many times. I made some good friends there. I go there for the Thanksgiving Derby. That's one of the biggest, oldest derbies in the world. They come here, and we made a promotion, the Guam versus Philippines Derby. We held it 3 times, very successful, and it's very fulfilling to have that kind of camaraderie with our brother cockers from other countries. And I ran that Guam Philippines 3 times. Then I've also been to Cambodia, and I've seen the fighting there. I've been exporting chickens to Cambodia. And just before the pandemic, we promoted the first, we call it the Asian Gaff Championship. So we had a Gaff Derby here, and we had entries from Cambodia, Vietnam, Australia. Oh, very, very, very fulfilling. Even more than all the victories, it's just that you get to go places and meet people. I've been able to go to Hawaii, watch the chicken fights there. I have many good friends there as well. Uh, every year, we try and get together. We send chickens. We fight together, win or lose. It's a good time. When I was young, my father brought me to the Bayou Club in Louisiana, so I got to see like the last few years of the legal fighting in the States. I've been to Texas. I met Mr. Manzel, who shared the bloodlines with our family. We fight his bloodlines here, and he's like a living legend in fighting. I'm fortunate enough to know him and call him a family friend. We're very close friends with him. So yeah, I've very nice, very good memories in this sport. You meet a lot of very nice people, good friends. You may live thousands of miles away, but you can bond over the chickens. Also, I meet a lot of Filipinos through the internet from all over the world. We chat, like sometimes I share my chickens with them, then they text you back like 2-3 years later. Oh, sir, the chickens I got from you are winning. Those are even a text like that. It's more than winning a derby. You feel even better when the guy you never even met face to face. You just talk over the internet. He sent you his hard-earned money. You sent him chickens, and the results were good. And then you get like a text. Oh, sir, we won the derby with the chickens. Oh, wow. That's an even better feeling than making champion for me.
Yeah, that's a great consolation, right?
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah. Do you ship in the US as well?
Those are the real memories in Sabong. The real memory, the chickens is just like a means to make memories and to make friends. And yeah, because the score, it comes and goes. You win one day, you lose the next. But the friendships you make in the sport, that's forever, right? That's what's important. That makes you enjoy sabong, right? You'll keep doing it if you have a lot of friends and you enjoy. If you pressure yourself to just win and it's about the money, yeah, that's too hard. You might not last long if you make it about money and competition, right? Like, you have to learn how to enjoy it to last long in sabong.
Wow, that's a good takeaway for tonight's interview. Nagsiship ka din ba, sir, sa US or Mexico?
Oh, you can't ship to the US or Guam. No. Okay. I've only shipped to Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Asian countries. Yeah. I don't ship it personally. There's shippers here, several in the Philippines. They do a good job. I've never had a problem with sending birds that they died in international travel. Very, very, very rare. Malaysia, I've sold to Malaysia also. But mostly lately, Vietnam and Cambodia. That was very interesting. I took a trip to Cambodia at the start, the January 2020. I went there. Very, very interesting.
So you mentioned about online sabong earlier. So what's your take on this issue? I mean, the traditional sabong and the online sabong. So I know there's very, very mixed emotion. There's lots of stories that coming here and there. What's your take about these two topics, the traditional sabong and the online sabong?
Well, of course, we're all used to traditional sabong. That's what's close to everyone's heart. Everyone wants it to return. But you can't help that the world is changing, and we don't know what's gonna happen. And right now, online sabong is what's here, right? So I think I support it. It saved a lot of. It didn't save everyone, but it did save a lot of people and the industry from coming to a halt, right? And it's at the rate it's growing. Maybe there'll come a time that it's for everyone, really. But of course, because that's also the real culture of the Philippines, right? Going meeting in the cockpit on Sunday, hack fight. That's the real sabong for me. Is hack fight. That's the real culture, the Filipino culture, right? And I miss that a lot. I miss that a lot. In Sundays, weekend hack fight. That's the most fun. You meet so many nice people there also. All the interesting guys are there. But yeah, the world changes too, right? You got to move with the changes, and that's the opportunity what's here now. So we support everything. Support online sabong. It's what's there, right?
So
And they gave us an opportunity to continue, right? If there is no way to fight chickens, all our will be drowning in feed bills. Everyone, it would be hard to continue. This is like it's like a lifeline. Because a lifeline was provided to the industry. I just hope that all the cockpits that have been closed by the pandemic will be able to reopen once it's all over. And in the future, traditional fighting and online fighting, they can coexist. There's enough room for everyone, right? You can support both, because both support both because you're supporting sabong either way, right? If you don't support, you're against it. You're saying, oh, it's bad. It's just gambling. And they should stop it. You'll end up stopping all sabong, and then what happens, right? So both. It'll come a time where both are needed, right? That's what I think.
I agree. I agree with your opinions because in this industry, there's so many backyard breeders. Backyard breeders are one of the biggest portion of the pie, contributing to the game fowl industry in the Philippines. Sobra.
No, that's very true.
Right. So
and the backyard breeders right now, they don't have a venue, especially in Manila, in Metro Manila. The restrictions are very hard. I think some of the provinces, the cockpits are open. But a lot of small breeders were forced to stop, and that's very unfortunate. But there's no solution to everything right now. It's still such a... we can only hope that as time goes on, we get closer to normal. In the end, there's problems much bigger than sabong, right? There's a lot of... You don't know what will happen. There's so much uncertainty, especially with there's elections coming, the economy. These are all much bigger than cockfighting. To hope that the Philippines and I guess other countries too, we come out okay. There's bigger things than to argue about if online sabong is good or bad.
I agree.
Right? But and then everyone's at home on the computer, on the internet. They're just gonna debate because there's nothing to do. It's a crazy world now.
And every places, everyone has its own trials, problems, especially the US right now. So the real problem from US is because it's illegal to them from most of the states of the US, and they are some of our friends there are being hunted by the humane society. What's your take on this issue? How can you, how can you express your support to our
Well,
brothers
I
in?
really feel bad for them because I've I've been to many fights in the U.S. when it was still legal, and I've met a lot of cockers in the U.S. and they're all good people. They're law-abiding citizens. I met guys who are school teachers, business owners. They're portrayed to be criminals, but they're all uh, good people, really. So it's unfair treatment by the media. And if you think about animal rights, it's really a scam, right? Because you're putting the rights of the animal in before the rights of the human to make a living for himself, right? What? There's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong by taking care of an animal for 2-3 years. They give it the best care, and it provides a honest income, right? So yeah, that's unfortunate, right? That's a result of lobbyists and you know political agendas. That's why the U.S. there's such a great divide in the people now, right? Because they've alienated half of their population. They just can't seem to get along anymore in the United States. And yeah, well, cockfighting is just a little part of that. A little part of that. It goes way past that with what happened in the U.S. You're, yeah, well, that's very unfortunate because I can say that I met a lot more good people in this sport than bad ones. A lot more.
A head of the family trying to make a living for his family with his game foul, and these people are trying to ruin, you know it's very sad to hear. Yeah.
They don't. It's a lie that they care about the well-being of the animal. That's not true. It's not true. They just care about money, right? These animal rights organizations. It's really a scam. They don't care if they don't care about the life of a chicken. You know how many chickens get slaughtered in the States for food? The poultry farms there, those are terrible living conditions for an animal. And they're okay with that. That's way more cruel than what happens to our roosters. Our roosters get to live 2 years under the best care, all the best feed, medication, shelter, clean surroundings. You can't say it's cruelty, really. It's just something that's not for everyone. And if you're not bothering your neighbor, it shouldn't be crime. The way I see it, it's to each his own. Chicken fights, it's kind of violent, it's kind of bloody. If that's not your thing, watch baseball, right?
True.
But don't, you don't have to be around it. The people who are so against cockfighting are the ones who don't understand it because they don't see it and they just picture it as like some wild thing that the roosters are all on drugs and it's all criminals involved. So they don't understand. And then, with the way the media is, they get people to hate things they don't understand. And that's very unfortunate, right?
So, on your stand, how can you be of help?
It would be hard to really help because we could, I don't know, give some advice that understand your laws, your local laws. It would be hard to give advice because we're from a country where it's open, it's a legal activity. So we take everything for granted. I wouldn't know how to give them advice on what to do with their problem. But I think what the best thing they could do is to be an upstanding citizen and show that you're a positive member of society and you're not like some underground scumbag type guy. Be proud of what you do and show that you're a good person, and then maybe you'll help change the stereotype of what a game fowl raiser or game fowl farmer. But in terms of actual advice, it's very hard because they got laws in place against them. So they also should prioritize. They got to think about their situation and get their priorities straight. If you're prepared to risk it, but you got to think it through. It's hard. I I don't understand. I wouldn't be able to give them advice really. It's a hard situation to understand coming from here, where it's a very legitimate activity here. Everything's open, everything's government regulated, it's taxed. We don't have to look over our backs when we're fighting. It's hard. I've been to those fights in the US where you don't know. You better wear rubber shoes when you go, you know. You don't know what's gonna happen.
True.
Been to places in LA. The police helicopter flies above the lot you're in. Everyone's running. Go, you get to the car. Let's go. It's not worth it. But I saw the legal cockfights in the states too. They had nice, nice stadiums, comfortable seating, air conditioning. And when the law came down and banned it, those towns suffered, right? Because they lost a lot of revenue. The restaurants, the motels, they didn't make the same money anymore. It spills over into the economy too. So yeah, it's a very tough situation. What happened to our brother breeders in the United States? Very tough. We'll never understand it fully being here. We can just offer our support.
Yeah. Only if the next president is involved in gamefowl, maybe that could change the game.
Even the president can't do anything about it. Even the president can't do anything about it.
It's very sad. Yeah.
I don't know. They just gotta fight to keep what they have now. I think bringing it back legal might be too much of a long shot. But they have to fight for their rights to be able to breed. That's under threat already. The ability to raise chickens for sale. Imagine telling you can't. There's nothing wrong with raising an animal and then you're selling that animal. You're sending it abroad, right? What law does that break? You're putting again the rights of the animal before the rights of the person. He's not harming anyone. And you're not gonna let him make a living from that. Yeah, unfortunate.
Wow, I really love your personal opinion. It's very, very striking, and it's very very entertaining. But I have so many friends in the U.S. They're raising and they have their good families. They have they're helping someone's in need, especially those who are asking for. They are always there, trying to donate this, donate that, just to help to the community. But then they're still. It's really
imagine like what I said. Like what I enjoy is continuing the tradition of my father, right? Being a second generation. In the US, some of those guys, they're like 5-6 generations. That's their family tradition. And they're seeing it like taken from them. So it's very, very heartbreaking, yeah. Yeah. Very tough.
Okay. Moving forward, I know every breeder has its own problems in the yard, especially in your farm as well. What is the main problem raising gamefowl with your own farm, like in a daily basis?
My experience.
Your experience as a breeder right now.
Well, right now, I would say my problem is space, because I'm constantly expanding because of the demand of the online circuit, right? So, with the space I have now, I don't like to cram too many birds together, because it's very hard to control the health once you're overpopulated, right? So finding ample space is key to preventing disease, right? So in the same light, to a new beginner breeder, don't produce more than your lot can take. And a few good chickens is better than a lot of mediocre or bad chickens. So always prioritize health, and not overcrowding is very key to producing healthy chickens. That's why you see all those chickens from your friends in the United States. Those birds are so healthy because they got a lot of space. You see their ranges in the videos. they post, wow, if I could grow chickens there, my God,
And it's very clean.
very, very lucky where they live. Very clean. And then there's the winter, it freezes the bacteria. You know, they're fortunate there. And so, yeah, so now what I try and do is I try to hatch more chicks and less batches so that they can all range and grow together. And I don't have to put younger fowl on the same land as the older ones. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to put new chicks on like a polluted land already, right? So I just want to produce enough for one space to range and grow them. The next batch can go to another range, and that's proved to be good results in raising healthy chicks. Always give that batch of chicks fresh ground, because once they're on ground that has been that older birds have been on, that's where you'll get the coccidiosis, coryza. Even if the birds are vaccinated, even clean ground is key.
So we'll roll down for 2 more questions. Is that all right?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Because I know it's already almost midnight in the Philippines, and here in Dubai it's almost 8 p.m. So we are 4 hours behind. So you mentioned about you raise because of the demand is you raise more because of the demand. Do you raise for sale and for bread, or you do raise for both?
It always changes. Of course, I sell some birds, and for the past couple of years, I just sell mostly for breeding purposes. I need to fight my crosses, so maybe past 5-6 years, I sell very few like battle crosses. Very few. Mostly, I just sell for breeding. I sell a lot of pullets, brood stags, even cross stags for breeding. I sell. They can contact me, Facebook and stuff. I've been doing this a long time already.
So out of those
they know where to
bloodlines,
find me.
out of those bloodlines that you have, which one stood out? I mean, which one it's on the top?
Well, everyone, of course, they like the grays, right? Because they kind of become iconic in our farm, I guess. They're very good cutters. They're pretty birds. They look very flashy winning, right? I really like that, but I really like the McLeans. That's my favorite. I think they cross well with anything. They make the chickens better. The McLean blood. For me, that's the best. And of course, I'm also very partial to my Oriental chickens. That's my passion, breeding Asils and Japs. That's it makes breeding fun.
Wow.
But in terms of standout, my personal favorite is the McLean, and the people's favorite is the Gray. We'll go with that.
Last question. What advice will you give to those who just started breeding?
First would be to start within your means. Don't go too big right away. Second, do your research on what type of chickens you want, where you will get them. But when it comes to buying brood stock, don't go for a discount. Don't go for a bargain. Pay the price the guy is asking for, and listen to the breeder, because he's put in years of money and time into those fowl. Listen to his advice on what to do and how to breed it. He's already done the hard work for you. So take his opinions on how to trust. If you're trusting him with your money for the chickens, trust his advice on what to do with them. That's a good tip for beginners, because a lot of times, you know, there's so many options in sabong now. They're like, oh, I'll buy this here, this here, this here. Then they'll mix it all up, and oh, disaster. So you got to do your research. And then, okay, once you've raised healthy chickens, you fight them and see if they're worth continuing, if what you need to do to improve them, or you want to scrap them, move on. There's no guarantees in sabong. There's no guarantees. You can buy from 50 of the best breeders in the United States. They might not even work out the chickens. And it's not because those guys had bad chickens, but it's just you don't know genetics. You don't know. You can't look inside the chicken and see if it's going to give you winners. Sometimes you have a rooster 5-time, 6-time winner. You breed him, the offspring won't be good. So again, it goes back to your first statement: record keeping. Competing and record keeping is the only way you'll move forward as a breeder.
Wow.
Of course, invest in the birds. Don't, make sure the surroundings are clean, secure. Give the best feed you can, clean water, medication. But again, no guarantees. You still need a lot of luck. And when you get that luck, you better know how to maintain it. Maintain and improve. You have to do the same thing simultaneously. You have to maintain them and try and improve them. Because trying to improve them is going to be an experiment. There's no guarantee you might mess them up. So at least if you're maintaining them, you're not going backwards. You just start again. Don't keep changing your chickens. You keep changing, you'll get lost eventually. Once you're lucky enough to find something that nicks, stick with it. Be observant. You'll know in the end what's worth keeping and what's not, and you'll find something what works for you. That's important. Birds that respond to your surroundings, your feeding methods. Eventually, you'll find it.
Interesting. There's so many takeaway for that final message from you, sir, Tonio. And please, if you want to promote your farm, your business, go ahead. I'll be more delighted.
Well, you can follow me on Facebook, TONIO MICA GF Romulo. That's the new one. Unfortunately, Facebook's so strict now. They deleted my original site, which was the most followed gamefowl site on Facebook. I felt so bad when that happened. I had the most followers on Facebook, like 280,000 at one point. Then they just took it away overnight. So you can follow me on that TONIO MICA GF Romulo. My personal Facebook is TONIO ROMULO, and Instagram TONIO Sabungero. And then I have a new business called TJM Feeds and Supplies, or an online store for gamefowl supplements. And you can follow us also on Instagram, TJM Feeds and Supplies. And we'll have a website up soon. And when the website's up, I'll share the address. And we ship anywhere. We got the paperwork to export these products. We've sent to Indonesia, Cambodia, Guam, Hawaii, mainland USA. It's interesting new venture. So hopefully they become successful. Yeah, we just started this a few months ago.
Wow, that's all those links and informations that being mentioned. We will post it in the description below so that you can follow as well.
Cool.
So that our listeners, our watchers can able to follow your social media platforms.
Thanks a lot. I remember I followed your Facebook page maybe a year or two ago. It's very nice. The magazine. What's it called? Warrior again?
Purebred Warrior.
Purebred Warrior.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
your online magazine. I enjoy the interviews and the pictures, and the artwork is very nice, very
Awesome.
tastefully done. The artwork, and I think this is pretty cool that now you have like a podcast segment or something like that. And I wish you guys a lot of success. I think you guys are very passionate about it, and you're gonna do well. You're gonna do well. If you need any help, I can help you anytime. Anytime. I wish you guys all the success because it looks like you enjoy what you're doing, and you're very passionate about it. So
Wow. Thank you very much, Sir Tonio Romulo of TONIO MICA Game Farm. On behalf of my partner Neru Lee and of the Purebred Wire team, we would like to thank you all to those who are watching right now. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and don't forget to click the tiny bell button to keep you updated on our upcoming videos. And hope to see you on the next episode.
all right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sir
Thank
Tonio,
you.
and
We'll
God
see you,
bless. Good night.
everyone. Okay. All right. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
God bless.